Hello, everybody. How we doing? Different thing this today. I've decided. Well, first of all, for anybody kind of watching right now and they're not expecting me to be on at all because it's a Thursday instead of a Monday, I basically decided or thought it'd be kind of like a nice idea or a nice thing that because I do the podcast obviously every Monday. The whole point of this is basically to chat to you guys at home properly, rather than me talking to a guest. Because it's like Beardo kind of said, I can't really let my hair down with a guest properly. I can't really talk to them properly. And so what I wanted was really for something a bit different. So what I've decided to do is have this I've called Chimp's Tea Party, Paranormal Monkey, Chimps, not talking about you guys. Well, maybe you are the Chimps, I don't know. But it's basically a group of us, to chat about paranormal. I've got some ideas for this. They may end up being a bit of a disaster. Um, but before we go any further, I'm just going to say hello too, because I'm surprised I've got anybody watching. So first of all, Chris, well done for coming on. Mike's going, what the hell is going on? Fair enough. Hi, Paul, Span, Shelley, and Gillian, Alyssa. Hi, Gareth, and Gillian. And who else have I got? Diane. What's going on here then? Yeah, I know. Let's have a look. And I'll make sure, I may try and make sure I say hello to everybody. But yeah, I also decided to do this on a Thursday because these kind of things with YouTubers, we kind of, and you anybody who watches YouTube on YouTube channels will know that certain days it's kind of good for certain people. And then on a Thursday, it tends to be like dead quiet. So I thought, right, bugger it. I'm having it. I'm getting in on Thursday because there's usually somebody who might who else? I mean, like certain people, first of all, that I kind of follow. I try and follow. If it's Ouija Brothers, they usually used to do like a live on a Wednesday. I think it was Beardo might do something on a Monday or on a. Did he do that? And on is it Sunday? He might do something as well. But yeah, essentially, it's just so I can chat to you guys, really, and have it a bit more kind of interactive. But thanks, Mike, Gillian. No, I don't have homework tonight. No, I'm a supply teacher. Supply teachers don't have homework. That's the point of being a supply teacher is, I can do this. And actually, I don't feel too knackered as well, which is kind of important. So, yeah, this obviously, this is the whole. So this is why I'm doing it. I thought it'd be kind of, I can just relax a bit. I can chill out. I can chat to you guys. Yeah, schedules. Well, I know schedules all over the shop. I mean, Chris, whether that schedules on YouTube or schedules for work, but yeah, I thought, well, like I said, Thursday's usually quiet, and it's a nice opportunity to get to kind of chat to you properly, whether it's paranormal related. If there's issues, I might, in future weeks have like a main topic we could discuss. So if there's anything that you think, oh yeah, we need to raise something that's come up in the paranormal and it's properly wound you up or getting on your nerves, or if you've seen a particular channel. No, I'm not a debunker. Don't want to be a debunker. But I think in futures where you know, we can maybe look at certain people or certain channels if they're not kind of copyright striked and stuff, or we can have a bloody good grumble. And it's about chilling out, relaxing, having a laugh. Um, the other thought I had about this kind of little add-on, I suppose, with the podcast is now this could have disaster written all over it, right? And it really, really could have disaster written all over it. I was thinking about right for this live stream and for every live stream I do, and people who have been on guests will kind of know about this as well. But what I would do normally is I would give a link. If anybody's ever been on a podcast, you give a website link, and then the guest literally clicks that link, and it'll take us straight onto this platform, and you can get on live. So, what I'm thinking is, do I just give out this link to anybody, to any of you at home. And then if you have something that you want to discuss or talk about it, you can get on your phone or you can get on a laptop or whatever. If it's got a webcam or a camera, you click the link, you go live, you chat to me, you tell us your opinion, and then that's it. Then I'll get somebody else on, right? Now, some people have done that before. Some people had done like invite only stuff, obviously. Um, I'm kind of wondering, tell me, is this a really, really, really stupid idea? Right? When is that bum fluff coming up? Do you not like it, Jillian? Is it too much? Obviously did it over the summer holidays and decided I don't know whether to grow it or not, or whether just to go, right, that's enough. Maybe I'll go back to stubble. Maybe it's getting a bit too unruly. We'll see. It, but yeah, but the whole idea is, do I give this link to anybody? And then they can say what they want. And then if they're rude, I can just get rid of them. Or, you know, so I'm a bit, I might trial it. I don't know where I'll do it tonight. I don't know if I feel, what's the word? Confident enough. There are reasons, like if you've ever seen live TV, there's always some asshole that comes on, and then I mean, as it is, this stream, you'll hopefully not find anything monetized on this one at all. So maybe I can get away with things, and people, if they've got really strong opinions about something, can come in and chat to you guys, and yeah, we can probably say what we want to say without too much issue. Yeah, so that's what I thought might be quite amusing. So, actually, shall I try it? Honestly, this is. I mean, yeah, Paul, I agree. I think this group is quite safe. I've never had a problem with anybody watching this channel. Like sometimes, believe it or not, some news channels have to specify no. Really, Mike? I believe it or not, some channels have to specify no nudity when they do this sort of thing. Oh, do you reckon that might happen? Because that would have me taken down like really quickly. Diane, don't get any ideas. Man, yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's the thing. I mean, I love the idea of anybody at home connecting up with this and just telling me what you want, and telling me about anything about the paranormal, anything that you've seen, if it's about a particular group or guest, or if you have an issue. I like that idea, right? I like it to be more interactive because I'm not interactive. When we have guests on Monday, I'm kind of seeing the chat, and I apologize now if you've put something in the chat and there's a guest on. I am watching the chat all the time. So you mucky pups at home, if you're saying stuff like rude stuff, I see it, and then I've got to try and concentrate on the guest, not what you are saying. This time, this kind of stream, I can say whatever I like, and I can highlight whoever I want. So this is, this is Big Brother. Please not swear. Yeah, exactly, Gareth. Yeah, Spans, you're not safe. Oh, bless you. Diane, come on with your baps out. What? Actually, what I might do is I'm just going to overlay your chat, so you can see. I can see all the chat, and you can see it live as well. I know some of you may be watching on live chat, but like sometimes things are just a little bit slow. So let me just do an overlay, and I can see every comment that you're making as well. Speaking overseas, that my top 3 podcast guests. Oh yeah, somebody who was it that said who's been my favorite guest so far? I find that really, really tricky. Mainly because, first of all, I don't have any kind of favoritism or not, but I've got to say I did really like having Richard Felix on. It's been a while since I saw Richard, and he's just a lovely, lovely, lovely guy. I really do like Richard Felix. I got all the time in the world for him, and bloody hell, he still does kind of ghost walks and ghost tours and does Derby Jail stuff. And he's getting on, he's probably getting on. And so it was lovely to have him on. I've got to say. Let's have a look. So what's Brian saying? Mr. Paul God, I was talking to my dad about you, and he totally believes in reincarnation. I was totally shocked. Excellent. Have you had Claire on yet from Don't Scare Claire? No, I haven't yet, Gillian. I'm going to have to ask her, I think, because I think I've met her and I met her husband, Mr. DSC, for those that kind of know if you see Mr. DSC in there. So they're lovely people. So I may well ask them to come on, because, whether that's just Claire or maybe her and her husband. He's probably a bit shyer than that, but yeah, he might want to come on. Yeah, I can obviously tell you as well about some of the people I've got in already and who I want to have in. Let's have a look. Chris French is my favorite so far. So it says Mike. I mean, Chris reminds me, I don't know who reminds you, but Chris reminds me how little I know. He makes me feel really thick. Yeah, Chris is great. I mean, I think Chris French, and also he's one of those rare things of a really personable academic, and that's quite rare, to be honest. It's quite rare to have somebody who's very clever, like professor level clever, and actually just a really easy guy to talk to. And he comes out with some things, and I've got to think, okay, it's quite tricky to kind of get hold of sometimes what he's talking about. Hello, Boo Productions Paranormal. Yeah, Richard's doing a ghost pub walk around York next year. Oh, cool. Jenny's the drippage queen. Uncle Goo says Richard Phillips is 75. See, I've spoke to Richard, and I said to him, bloody hell, Richard, you are like incredible. Like properly incredible in terms of you doing all these things. You must be as fit as a fiddle. And he doesn't believe me when I tell him that. But he really is. He's an incredible man. I want to get him back on. I've already decided I want to get Richard back on at some point. So, hey, Paul, I want to ask you, did anyone ever claim to be from another planet in a previous life? That's a good question. Brian, you do come out with some amazing questions. But you and Paul can have a little conversation in the chat. That's fine. Peter Laws, I've got. Peter Laws, I mean, it's... like the one thing with Peter Laws is he comes across as a really lovely fella, doesn't he? And obviously, because he's an author, he's so good with his words. He's so good with his storytelling. You're kind of hooked into it. And I can remember at one point, I think Peter Laws at one point had fewer subscribers than me. And then as soon as he started, it was like, whoa, his subscribers have got like huge now. Yeah, massive. But yeah, can't deny it. He's a great storyteller. The production of his stuff is so good as well. Paul, I've asked Professor Richard Wiseman to come on, but basically he is far too busy. I have tried. I really have tried. This week's paranormal news. It'll just be me bitching about people. I don't know. Is there much news in the paranormal really, other than the same old stuff churned out every week? Sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I would love to get Richard Wiseman on. We've said this past. I'd love to get him on, to get Darren Brown on. I really would love to get Darren Brown on. He's one of my top people. Up with him and Dan Aykroyd. I would get Dan Aykroyd on. But certain people I've tried a number of times. Danny Robbins I've tried a couple of times. Kieran O'Keefe I've asked 4 times. So there's quite a few people I'm keep on trying because I think that'd be really good to get on. Let's have a look. Diane with a dum at the end to keep us waiting until next week. Yeah. Maybe you should come on as the newsreader, Diane, and just, shuffle your papers and stuff. But let's have a look. Oh, 3 people out of 100 believe they've come from a different planet, Paul. I find that amazing in itself, that 3 people out of 100 would say they've actually come from a different planet. Jason Carlon, that's a good shout, Gareth, as well. Yeah, I mean, part of me would genuinely like to talk to Yvette Fielding, right? And Carl Beatty. However, because of my background in terms of paranormal truth stuff and the amount of crap that we gave Most Haunted, I genuinely don't think they would ever want to talk to me. I would be honestly really respectful, right? Some people say, "Oh, don't give them the time of day because they don't deserve it." I get that. But for the sheer fact of how much influence they had on the paranormal community, I'd like to get them on. All right. Um, so I've spoken to other people associated with Most Haunted in the past. Like Richard Felix and people like that. And who else did I have on? Um, well, Barry John was with the psychic medium with Most Haunted for a bit, and there's a few people. Get Carol on. I can go Carol, as in Carol Fieldhouse Carol from East Drive. It would be such a long stream. The stream would last for God knows how long if get Carol on. But anyway, she's quite poorly, I think, at the minute. I just want to leave her kind of alone. Oh, Paul, excellent, thank you. I've just seen that message saying you got a few people I might find interesting. Yes, please. I mean, I've got a few people in mind. I've got all of September's booked. I'll tell you who those people are a bit later on. I've got all of September booked. I've got 2 out of the 4 weeks in October pretty much sorted. And then I've got Peter Laws is coming in November. So yeah. So look, hello, hey Paranormal, hello. So what planet? Yeah, that'd be interesting. What planets are these people on? Yeah, but yeah, I have watched the Unsolved Mystery stuff. I kind of like cheesy TV. If it's been done right, I kind of like it. I just can't watch Ghost Hunters. There's some. I mean, I love the paranormal. Don't get me wrong. I love watching TV shows. That involves the paranormal, like documentaries and stuff. I love Uncanny and I love other things like that. But if it's been done badly, or if a team just blatantly starts using equipment that which is ridiculous, or they start overacting, that's it. I turn off. No, I've not asked Dan. Have I asked Richard a step? No, I have not yet. I think I'd like to. I think I need to get him on at some point. I'm still who am I waiting for? I've asked the likes of some of you may know Elizabeth Saint. So she's been on quite a few US TV shows. So I've asked her to do it. I've not had a reply from her yet. I'm asking a few of the I'm terrible for names, but he was on 28 Days Haunted on Netflix. I've asked one of the guys involved with that to come on. So yeah, I'm constantly looking for decent people. Basically, it can be sometimes a bit of a struggle, to be honest. I mean, there's loads of podcasts that have lesser known people and lesser known groups, but I really, part of why I want to try and make this the actual podcast really good is so I can get some great people on. Have you asked? I've asked Carol Baskin. Oh. Carol Baskin. Do you know what? She's got nothing to do with the paranormal. Why would I ask Carol Baskin unless it's about questioning about what happened to her husband and stuff, and the whole Tiger King madness? I do love that though. It's one of those kind of guilty pleasures. Tiger King was a guilty pleasure when I watched it. I think over lockdown, it was hilarious. I can't watch Help My House Is Haunted. No, neither can I. I think it's absolute trash. It's really bad. I've spoken to Jane Harris in the past. I spoke to her a long time ago when she owned Shane Pittman. That's the guy. Thank you, Shelley. Trying to get Shane Pittman on. That's the one. Yeah, I spoke to Jane Harris a long time ago when she used to own, I think it was Janet or no, Peggy. Oh, I can't remember these bloody haunted dolls. But before she sold it to Zach Baggins, whatever, I spoke to her. She was lovely. But because she's gone down this kind of TV road and it's just all a bit sensationalist and a bit silly. Plus, some of the Barry Guy antics are just ridiculous. I just don't know whether I can have him on in any seriousness, to be honest. Yeah, Brian, look at some of the guests that Joe Rogan's got and nick them. Yeah, I mean, certain other people tell you what I found really interesting. Having UFO people on. I've had like 2 Steve Mira talking about UFOs. I know he talked about the podcast stuff in a different week, but he came on talking about UFOs. And I had a guy called Philip Mantle coming on talking about UFOs. I was actually really surprised. You know, like the paranormal people, they think we can be pretty catty and nasty and a bit kind of mean to people. The UFO ufologists guys commenting about Philip Mantle's appearance on here, they are slating, and they're doing the same thing with Steve Mira and who's the Irish guy? Oh God! Do you know what? I book these people? I forget. I'm such a teacher. I remember names and I forget them. Thingy, Barry Fitzgerald. That's the one I think it is. Yeah, when you have these people on, but yeah, the ufologists, they slate others ufologists. You know, they're really, really kind of they go in for the kill with some of these comments they've had. Let's have a look. Yeah, so Ian Long was good in his most haunted days. He's gone downhill a bit now. I get that. I don't know. I mean, again, Ian Lawman. I know a few things about Ian Lawman as a person. Would I have him on as a psychic medium? I suppose I would do. But again, he's linked to this TV stuff, and I just think some of it is just so silly, so ridiculous now that I get a bit annoyed, to be honest. Did you know that Ian Lawman was a trained ballet dancer? No, I did not know that, Gillian. I knew he was like, was it like he was like a boxer for a while, but I didn't know he was a ballet dancer. That's cool. Heard of Whitley Strieber? Yes, I have heard of Whitley Strieber. Anybody who's into kind of UFOs, I want to go and get some more UFO people, I've got to say. Whilst I've got my phone on me, I'll tell you who I've got coming up. Because I don't know if I've told all of you who I've got booked in for the rest of September. So I'll tell you now. Okay, so some of you may have watched the end of last Monday's episode. And so after I was speaking with Chris French, I was saying that next month, this coming Monday on the 9th, I've got William C. Grave, who some of you may not know William C. Grave, but he's an author. And he has written a book called The Lady in the Bay Window, which he basically has published and then donated a lot of the proceeds, a lot of the money to Macmillan Cancer Charity. And he's raised thousands, bless him, about his haunted home in Sheffield. Really interesting to speak to him and go through kind of the experience and what he's found out about his home and the apparition sightings and things like that. After William C. Grave, on the 16th, I've got Dr. Cal Cooper. So Dr. Callum Cooper is going to be coming on and talking about telephone calls from the dead. So he basically did new research. Well, he's taken the old research. There used to be an original book a long time ago, I think the 1950s, that was called Phone Calls from the Dead or Telephone Calls from the Dead, and he's basically updated it. So got Dr. Cal Cooper on to talk about that. The following week, I've got a guy called Andy McGrath coming on. Now, Andy McGrath is a expert in UK cryptids. So in the UK, we think we've pretty much only got, Loch Ness Monster, whatever. But he has written a book, and I've had the book a while, actually, but he's written a few books, but they're all about cryptids and historically what kind of weird and wonderful cryptids we've had in this country. After Andy McGrath, really good one. End of September, very end of September, 30th of September, Paul Zenon. Now, anybody who's from the UK may go, I kind of know that name. And I've kind of did a little bit of promo about Paul because Paul is one of the UK's best magicians. And he's been on TV loads. I mean, he was in the 1990s. Paul Zenon was everywhere on UK TV in terms of being a magician. So got him on. He's going to be really, really, really good because he is so anti-paranormal. He's a typical magician, like the likes of James Randi, Houdini. He absolutely thinks that it's all rubbish. It's all nonsense. So we're gonna have some really, really good conversation with Paul Zennon. I think he's gonna be fabulous, and he's gonna explain why the paranormal was nonsense and his, obviously, if you're a magician, you are, geared up to fool the public. They know how to fool the public, whether that's sleight of hand or mentalism tricks or those kinds of things, and so that's gonna be a really, really good one because I'm really looking forward to Paul coming on. Then we move into I've got a couple of people booked in for October. Fingers crossed, middle of October. There's going to be a bit of a time issues, maybe, but he says he's going to wake up. You might be able to work it out. Got Seg, Side Eye Guy, is coming on middle of October. And then I've also got near Halloween, and I might do something else during Halloween as well, but near Halloween, I've got Steve Parsons coming back on. So Steve Parsons from the Society for Psychical Research and various other places, a real renowned person. He's been on loads of TV stuff as well, Steve Parsons. And he's coming on and he's going to do, we're going to have a chat about, I suppose, the godfather of all ghost hunters, Mr. Harry Price. And if you don't know who Harry Price is, then, sort yourself out. I am trying to get somebody else in. I'm trying to confirm dates, possibly in October, with a guy who's an expert and on Borley Rectory. So there is a book that's been out a little while now. It's not a new book, called The Borley Rectory Companion. He's one of the authors of that. He kind of co-authored it with the likes of Peter Underwood. For those who may know Peter Underwood, and he co-wrote The Borley Rectory Companion. So he is a real expert on Borley Rectory. Now he's not confirmed yet, but I want to get him on because it's between Borley Rectory and Harry Price. That's what, if you're ever into the paranormal, certainly in the UK, possibly internationally as well, there's a lot of people that love that case and they kind of love to hear about that case because this film behind me is one of the films that have been made about Borley Rectory. So yeah, we've got some good ones. Anyway, who else we got? Hans Holz's daughter's open to talking about ghosts. That's cool. I'll try and get on. Is that when Seg is in England? No, I think Seg is going to be coming to England. I don't know if it's November, December time. So I think he'll still be in Australia at that point. Hence why I think bless him. I think for him to come on at 8 o'clock as normal, it's going to be, I think it's going to be 5 a.m. for him. So yeah, bless him. So I think he's very, I don't know if he's going to be reluctant. I think he'd be happy. He might be a bit bleary-eyed, bless him. But yeah, he said he's going to come on. So that's good. Kenny Biddle. Yeah, I'd like to get Kenny on. Kenny's great obviously, in terms of anything technology-wise. I think he's a great one. I think Kenny, to me, is a little bit like Chris French in that no matter what you say, he'll have an answer for. Oh, bless you, Mike. Thank you so much for the memberships. Bless you. Thank you. Oh, you're an absolute star. Thank you, Mike. And what's lovely as well, these kind of streams, I've got to say, I can thank you straight away. Again, when I always feel guilty, if I've got a guest on and I'm halfway through a conversation, I always feel guilty that I can't say thank you straight away to people giving memberships and things. So thank you so much, Mike. You are a legend. Thank you. Who else? Oh, you've lost my train of thought now, Mike. Have I had any guests that changed my opinion about that? So have any of the guests changed your opinion about their topic, and who was it? A couple. Well, first of all, I like the people who I didn't know much about. So Paul Goddard in the chat, lovely, lovely fella. I knew so little about past life regression. Having anything from him was like an education for me because when you only hear about hypnotism, you don't really have a full idea of what it entails or what's involved and the processes and things. So to have Paul on was a great education. So that kind of changed my opinion of hypnotherapy generally. Barry John, who obviously was recently psychic medium. I don't know if he's changed my opinion of psychics generally, but him as a person, he struck me so well. and being so open to it, and talking about how he's able to provide specific information, specific details, that he's willing to go to anybody who would like to take a look further into his abilities and what the kind of the things he's coming out with. But like he says, he does it for the clients. He does it for, and if the clients are happy with what he's coming out with, that's the main thing for him. So I've got to, I mean, I've not, I think Barry John is perhaps one of the very, very few psychic mediums where I've been left going, actually, you see, as a person, lovely, so lovely. I would still need, in terms of mediumship generally, I think I would still need him to kind of do a reading for me and come out with very, very, very specific details. Let's have a look. Was Andrea Perrin on your show once, Justin, and she wouldn't answer any questions? I have had Andrea on. This long, when it was the hello, I'm wearing my Paranormal Truth t-shirt here. When we had her on as part of Paranormal Truth, we spoke to her. All about her, obviously her book that she wrote and her experience of the Conjuring House and growing up there and living it and the movie and all of that kind of stuff. Now, she struck me genuinely now as a really lovely, lovely person. And anybody who's seen any interviews with her, I think Andrea Perrin comes across so, so well. The big issue I've got since then, and that was, I'm trying to think how many years ago that was now. 7 years ago? No, got to be longer. Probably more nearer 10 years ago now when I spoke to her. A lot has come out since, which basically turns her version of events on its head. So as we all know now, the likes of Bathsheba, who's was vilified and things like that. There's a lot that's come out since that has kind of rubbished her, her book and some of the things that she came out with, and a lot of the things that the Warrens came out with. So yeah, I'd like to have a follow-up chat with her. That I'd find that quite good. But yeah, I'm a bit mixed. I mean, as a person, she comes across as lovely. I'm not too convinced by her version of events. Barry John I found boring. It's fine, Gillian. Thing is, this is a safe space. You can say what you like. There's no guessing. You're not going to offend anybody. It's absolutely fine. I love the out-of-body experience and remote viewing. Had a near-death experience and out-of-body experience out. Just learned about the Monroe Institute in Virginia. Do plan on trying it. That's cool. It's a Spookfest. That's cool. There's a couple of people who want to try and get in to talk about out-of-body experiences. And I know one or two people have kind of researched it, but also people's experiences in different countries around the world in terms of the similarities and difference between out-of-body experiences. So I may get them in. What do you make of the whole Conjuring House situation? What do I make of it, or what does Andrea Perrin make of it? See, the last time I saw a comment from Andrea Perrin about the Conjuring House, she was adamant that Cody and Satori were genuine. That tells you as much as I suppose you need to know. So yeah. And unless she's willing to change her mind about that, then I think it might be a bit of a tricky conversation, I've got to say. Chris Ramsey. I think Chris Ramsey is way too big for me, I've got to say. I don't think the likes of Chris Ramsey, I'm not even going to get on his radar. Do you know what's funny? I really enjoyed listening to Penny Griffiths. In fact, I did just order one of them. Oh, cool, that's good. Remember a ghost TV show in the 60s? In the 60s, board director was part of it. That's cool. I just remember, is it? Yeah, well, yeah. Like I said, we did on Paranormal Truth used to do a podcast every Monday called Super Neutral a long time ago, and we tried to. That's where I first got hold of the likes of Keith Linder. And we spoke to Andrea Perrin and a few other people as well. But I always liked the guest stuff more than anything else. And the reason I'm doing the Paranormal Monkey podcast stuff now is because I love talking to guests. I just found that more interesting than a lot of the time it was just me and Dale talking nonsense. So yeah, I used to find it a lot more interesting having guests on who've got real experiences. That's why I did the podcast. And I'm doing the podcast now because it's a lot easier than going out into haunted buildings till 5 in the morning or whatever it was, stupid times we used to do things. And it's a lot easier on my knees. I'm too old for that stuff. I'm not really. I could probably do it with a push. I think I need to I'm talking with the likes of Beardo and stuff. Maybe he can kind of convince me to go somewhere with him at some point. Let's have a look. Have a look into in terms about look into giants found around the world and mentioned in old texts. I want to get an expert in that kind of stuff. You know, I do. I know what you're talking about. I just know very little about it, and I would like to get to know more about it. It would be quite cool. Hey, Claire. Oh, there we go, Claire. As you're in now, people are saying, Claire, you need to come onto my podcast. There we go. So now I've got you here, Claire. Shall I book you in? I'll get you. People are saying, oh yeah, we should have Claire on. Go on then, Claire. I shall. So basically, any date in November, and I've got a couple of weeks in October. There we are. So I'll see if I can get you in. Let me know when you're free, and I'll book you in. I'll do it straight away. It's a new way of booking people in for these things. Smithsonian has giant skeletons and stuff. That is so mad, though, isn't it? That is so mad about. I just find that whole conversation really cool and very, very unusual and peculiar. And is it just? I don't know. I don't know enough about it. That's the whole truth of it. So I would love to speak to somebody who knows about that. Right, Claire, come on. You said sign me up, right? I'll get you in here. So I'm going to do it live. Here we go. Right, I have got the 7th of October free or the 21st of October. Choose one of those or pretty much any in November. The only one I can't do is the end of November. 25th of November is when I've got the Reverend Peter Laws in. And that's for anybody who wants to know when I've got Peter Laws in, that's then. Let's have a look. So theories about giants Nephilim being the reason people have rhesus negative blood. Oh, I don't know. I didn't know about that, Ginger Monster. That's really mad. Yeah, that's why I like getting people in who can actually educate me and maybe educate everybody else at home as well. I think that'd be an amazing kind of talk to have somebody who's an expert in that kind of stuff. I still want to get a good Sasquatch person in. There's a couple of people's names that have been mentioned to me. I might try and get them on very soon as well, because I find the whole idea of Sasquatch really interesting. I've tried contacting somebody about the Loch Ness Monster, but they've not got back to me. So yeah, I'm always on the lookout for trying to get people in. Hello, guys. Oh, tough years. Welcome along. Good evening. Yeah, sorry if I didn't say good evening to you, I apologize. Now I'm just too busy bloody ranting. Hey, Gillian, didn't realize it's not, Tim. It's not. It's a Thursday. But like I say, at the very, like I say, for those who are just coming in a little bit late, I've decided to do this little kind of chat. This kind of tea party, because all of you guys are invited to the tea party. This is my little tea party with you guys, and we can just talk nonsense for a while. Don't have to worry about guests. I can listen, look at the chat. I can read everything you've got. So I've got a lot coming up on the channel. Oh, don't scare Claire. Thank you so much look, I'm doing it now. I'm going to book you in for the 11th of November. That is amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Right, I'm putting it in now. Look at this. I'm doing it on my phone so I don't forget. There you go. I'm just going to put Claire podcast. Awesome. There you go. Done. Fabulous. Thank you, Claire. Thank you so much. How easy is that? That's so good. Normally it's like backwards and forwards of emails and stuff. This is like a nice, easy way of getting people booked in. Okay, let's have a look. Yes, Weeping Willow, good evening. Hi, Mark. Let's have a look. What is hang on. I can't even read that, Brian. Sasquatch is probably Gigantopithecus. If you could tell me how to pronounce that properly, that would be useful. Thank you. I just I did that so badly. Oh dear. Yeah, it's probably that, Brian. That's what I thought as well. That was on the tip of my tongue. That was. Yeah. Anyway, hi Tim. Yeah. So doing this one, so I can speak to people in chat basically and have a good old chat with people rather than being distracted by guests. I can just chill. Really. Hey Mythos. Good evening. Hello. Hello. Yeah, welcome to the madness. Welcome to my little tea party of people and paranormal people to have a lovely conversation, essentially, and we can put the world to rights. Whether it's monkeys, it no, it's just me. I know. But actually, Mythos, while you're here, as you're here, and before you bugger off again, maybe I should get you on as a guest as well. I could fill up my diary, and I can get you on as a guest. So I've got Don't Scare Claire in. I've booked her, but actually, I think Mythos, you'd be a great contender. I've had Beardo on. I've got Seg on. I think the least you can do, Mythos, is get your ass onto my podcast, and I can kind of grill you about the paranormal and debunking and things like that. So I've just put Claire on. Look, I've got my pencil out and everything. It's going to happen. But yeah, if you're willing and able and would like to Mythos, then I've now got two weeks in November free, and I've got 2 weeks in October free. There you go. Just let me know if you're willing and up for that, and then I'll see if I get you booked in. Yeah, I know, Claire. I know this is not a way for me to get people booked in, but it is so much easier, isn't it? If I've got some great people in the chat and go, right, I'll have you, and I'll have you, get you in on, get you in here. I mean, like I said, I've got so many people that I contact, and yet they don't get back to me. It's really frustrating, And the most frustrating ones are the ones where you send them a message. They read it and then they don't respond to it. It's like, just let me know. Let's have a look. Which Slipknot mask does he have? Are you talking about Mythos here? I mean, Beardo's got a great mask. I've got to say, if Beardo wears that Slipknot mask that Beardo's got, it's kind of it's a really good one. It is a really good one. I mean, I do genuinely really like the side eye guys masks, but Seg's mask, I don't know how he wears them. It's so hot in Australia, so hot, and you're thinking he must be sweating buckets. It's got to be pretty disgusting, actually wearing those bloody masks. Because I know every so often he's got to like go off camera, lift up the mask, and wipe his face or whatever. It's got to be a bit grim. Bless him. I don't know. Maybe I should have worn a mask. Maybe I'm too foolish. Same as Crow and people like that. Everyone wears bloody masks. I get it though. I do get it. Certainly with the debunkers. Debunkers, they get a lot of shit, I've got to say, and so I do fully understand. Me happily talking to other guests. No conflict here. Super straightforward, super easy. I'm not kind of pointing fingers at people. Well, I do occasionally, but you know what I mean. But I don't get half as much shite as some of the debunkers get. I mean, some of the stuff. I mean, Mythos, you must have it as well. I know Beardo has had loads of it, and the people suing you and it's just it would do my head in. I've got to say, it would do my head in. The amount of crap that people get, and for basically pointing the obvious out, or some of the obvious out, to some of the techniques that people are using, I just find it really unfair, to be honest. Yeah, maybe Seg does stick his mask in the freezer before he records it. I don't know if he would, but in the Tibetan mountains, kids wear masks to scare each other. Yeah, I bet they're proper scary though. I bet those are the handmade masks, which look really scary. Like in the UK, we used to make Halloween things out of turnips and stuff. If you ever looked at the old photos of those, they're proper scary. Now it's all pumpkins and stuff. It's just all a bit nice. And if you ever looked at fancy dress competitions in the 1920s, 1910s, they are proper scary. Like Halloween costumes from a long time ago. Seriously, seriously scary. Crow's a sexy dude, Gillian. I've never met Crow. I don't know what his real face looks like, but if it's based see, all I can base it on is what Crow sounds like when I've spoken to him. Crow to me sounds like Seth Rogen. Paul from the Alien, Paul the Alien. To me, he sounds like that. And I can't get that out of my head when I speak to him. He's got every so often he'll sound just like that. Let's have a look. There's an original Ghostbusters car behind you. But yeah, of course it is. What do you take me for? Of course it is. Um, I've seen photos and they're horrific. Spange, is that actual photos of Crow? You're not. No. Yeah, played. You mean that? Oh, you mean the turnips and the old photos of old Halloween things? Yeah, yeah. Well, he is. Do you not think, Elisa, that Crow sounds like Seth Rogen? Anyway, the play Doctor Mouse. Yeah, that's kind of creepy. I've got to. It is. It is. That's pretty creepy. So I'll go through some funny. Call me a bully for pointing out someone faking, but yet the stuff they say gets automatically blocked by my. Yeah, I know. And it's. I mean, in all honesty, I don't know how you deal with it. You get so much crap from people. You must get tired of it after a while because you're pointing out the fakery involved, and you probably expect some flack, to be honest. But the amount of stuff that you get, and Papa might get, and Mr. Grey might get, and Beardo might get, and Crow would get, and who else? The Shape might get. So much crap that you guys get, and I maybe you deserve some of it, but not all of it, not the extent of it. I've got to say. Let's have a look. So the Victorians had photos taken with their deceased. Yeah, Gillian, but I think the Victorians had a whole other deal with death. They saw death. It was such a frequent thing due to consumptions and consumption and stuff like that. They became almost normal. It was normalized. It was around them all the time. So for them to have a photo with a loved one who had passed away was much more normalized in Victorian society, I think. So I that's the reason. To us now, it's been like, whoa, too much. But yeah, I do think that for them, it was more of a memento of a passing because it was more normalized, I would say. Let's have a look. What else we got here? Yeah, Plague Doctor did used to have herbs stuffed in the mask because they dealt with the awful smells when healing. Absolutely. Plus, they also believe that the bad air caused the plague. They had no idea, so therefore, it was a means to not only get rid of the smell of death, but also they thought that clean air or perfumed air was better and would not they'd not get they'd not catch the plague. Let's have a look. Yeah, probably the past ones, loved ones, as if they were still living. Yeah, have you seen any of those photos? They are, they are seriously, they are creepy. But because a lot of them actually, if they've done a good job, the photographer's done a good job, you can't actually tell they're dead. They usually, it's in the eyes a little bit sometimes, but if they've done a good job, they, you can't tell automatically. It's a bit of a mad one. Let's have a look. They're propped up on a tripod. Absolutely, Tim. Yeah. Apparently, there are quite a few fake photos out there where they actually were not dead. Oh, that's interesting. Journal of a Plague Year is a superb. I've not heard of that one, Joe. A Journal of a Plague Year. Is that? I mean, obviously in the UK, the most famous plague place that I know is the town of or village of Eyam in Derbyshire, which I've been to quite a few times. Is it about Eyam? Because they have an amazing history to do with the plague, if you can call it amazing. Let's have a look. What's annoying is fakers going to locations you've done and get no activity, and they get demons coming through on some app and make up crap. Yeah. That annoys the shit out of me, to be honest. Where, yeah, you get a lot of that. You get a lot of teams who obviously aren't getting anything, and they haven't had anything for probably hours if they've been there hours, and so they revert to stupid stuff. They revert to apps and they revert to spirit boxes because they've got to get something. And, then, rather than just being upfront and saying, no, there's nothing here, they would rather use some silly bloody gadget. And yeah, it just annoys me. And as soon as they start getting gadgets out, it's like, oh, just turn it off. It's just horseshit. Yeah, I mean, Eam is a lovely place, Mythos. It's a lovely, lovely place, that Eam. Um, got a tiny little museum there, but and the church is always nice. There's not a lot there, to be honest. But it's worth. But the fact they've got some of the cottages that were there from the 1600s, and there's the little plaques outside with who lived there and all of that. And you can go to there's a bit of a walk. It's just a nice place. It's just a nice area. Like I said, don't expect much in there. It's only a tiny little village. But it's got a fascinating history, and the fact that you can still go to some of these points are quite emotional, I suppose. There's one area where a woman literally buried her children and her husband, and all in one little plot, and that's really kind of moving. Let's have a look. What is that? I've just missed the Dad's Army comment. What was that? What? Let's have a look. Watching Dad's Army, Phil. Are you being served and last of some wine on the Dave channel, like channeling the deceased? Yeah, a lot of those. They've been dead a while, haven't they? A lot of those people. But yeah, I do like those old shows, although some of them not exactly politically correct anymore. Some of them, yeah, flew close to the wind. Even in the 70s and 80s, they must have been like, oh man, how did you get away with that? What was the one with Alf Garnett? And I can't remember the name of it. Dear Lord, you don't see that on Dave. You wouldn't have allowed that anywhere near TV now. Even now, I don't think you'd see that stuff. What's this? Have you tried those Coca-Cola Jaffa cakes? They have Coca-Cola Jaffa cakes. Really, Gillian? I've not seen them. Are they nice? I've seen the orange Jaffa cakes. They're kind of nice. But let's have a look. A guy on YouTube was debunking the Plague Village. I mean, I don't know. Can you debunk the fact that they closed themselves off and essentially sacrificed themselves? Because that's essentially what they did. Is this guy on YouTube basically saying they didn't do that? I mean, granted, I get some of the stories might be hazy in certain people, but that's the most famous thing that they did. There's part of it. Till death do us part. Yes. Just as your Ecto REM pod. No. Oh, you would not find me with a bloody REM pod, right? Don't care what people say about me loving flashy gadgets. I hate flashy gadgets, and you're not going to find me with a bloody REM pod. Certainly not an Ecto 1 REM pod. Love thy neighbor wouldn't be allowed. No, it definitely would not. Oh, see, but I love Bottom, and I know that's all right. I mean, Little Britain was worse than Bottom, surely. I thought, because they kind of flew close to wind. Stian Griff as guests. Now, Frappo. I've had Stian Griff on as guests, and anybody who watched my little talk with the Ouija brothers, and if you haven't, it's on the podcast. It was a bloody nightmare because Stee and Griff are, Stee, Stee's all right. Griff, law unto himself, always has been. You don't know what Griff is going to come out with, right? And he'll be there flossing his teeth or whatever, and but like, and then or chomping through pizza or what. You just don't know what he's going to come out with. I mean, I love them both dearly, and I do genuinely love Steve and Griff. And like I say, we've known each other for bloody years. From back in the day, we kind of investigated together and went to bloody Pendle Hill together and places like that. But yeah, Griff comes out with some classics, Spange. He really does. And yeah, flashing Christmas lights is my limit. And I'd even be a bit wary about using Christmas lights if they looked a little bit too much like a K2 meter. Let's have a look. What's that? Claire, are you keeping hydrated? Asking for a friend. What? Oh, blimey. But yeah, if you want to look back at the carnage and the mayhem that was the Ouija Brothers um, time on the podcast, it's on the channel somewhere. Just, root it out, find it, laugh, because there's certain points most of the time with a guest, it's a question and an answer, and it's kind of nice and it's flowing and it's lovely and it's easy. Steve and Griff, it's like carnage. It's mental, absolutely mental. But it's funny. You just don't know what you're going to get. They're just hilarious, absolutely hilarious. But I've got to say, Griff, really nice singer, really good, really good at singing. Let's have a look. What else we got going on? Let's have a look. I do think I need to start eating Coca-Cola Jaffa cakes though. That's my kind of thing. I've got to say, I've never heard of them. I think I might need to. Hey NC, good evening. Good evening. Mark, not the 9 o'clock news. Wouldn't last a day, unfortunately. No, it definitely wouldn't. It definitely wouldn't. Hang on, what are you drinking? Don't scare Claire. I'm on my 3rd liter. It's what I used to say in my very early videos. Bloody hell. Let's have a look. Oh, bless you, Julie. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for the membership, Julie. Thank you. Was that? We all know you have a secret room which is filled with K2 pots and a Barry Guy fishing jacket. Hey, if you ever see one of those bloody things, I've lost the plot. It'd be good to watch a panel debate of people that do and don't believe on the haunting of East Drive. Funnily, you should mention that, Phil. The lovely Diane Chambers, who's below you in the chat right now, has said the very same thing. And I think at some point, and I know Gillian, who's in the chat, bloody hates the talk of East Drive, but there's been lots and lots of talk of East Drive, it being fake or people thinking it's nothing's there or it's gone or something like that. But because me and Diane had what I would class as the maddest, genuinely the maddest experience in East Drive, I think we might need to kind of at some point talk about it. For those that don't know about it, but I have mentioned it so many times. I'm be surprised if people in this chat don't realize what happened to me and Diane and who else was it? Who other people? A large, I think there was about 10 people that witnessed it. Let's have a look. If I end up liking the Coca-Cola Jaffa cakes, it might affect my opinion of it. Okay. Do you like them then, Ginger Monster, or you find them absolutely disgusting? Spange, how do I spell the Plague Village? Eam, so it's EYAM. EYAM. It's in Derbyshire in the UK. Lisa, the Goodies were my favorite program. Still laugh out loud now when I say it. So you know what? That's the Goodies, not the Goonies. Yeah, I missed out a bit on the Goodies. I mean, the Goodies were around in the 70s, weren't they? And I was, I think, just a touch too young for the Goodies, I've got to say. Yeah, and Bill Oddie always struck me as a bit weird. I don't know if he might be a perfectly lovely guy. He just strikes me as a bit weird, particularly as he's got older. He's a bit creepy. I don't know. Just saying, allegedly, possibly. Let's have a look. Don't podcasts usually follow the families associated with the activity? Yes, Wisdom, absolutely. If you look at obviously all the kind of research and studies of podcast activity, yes, the vast majority, it's short-lived, person-centered, family-centered, and then after a couple of weeks, it kind of fizzles out and disappears and goes, right? That's the perceived notion of podcasts, which is partly why when I first went to East Drive, I thought it's not a podcast because that happened in 1969. It can't possibly have survived so long since then. And it's how on earth could it be happening in 2024? It's ridiculous, right? So that was my thought process of East Drive. All I can say is I don't know if it's the original podcast from 1969, but me and Diane and the 8 other people that were there, hand on heart, think we witnessed genuine poltergeist activity. I'm not talking creaky floorboards here. I'm not talking about Carol next door knocking on a wall or some kid on a scooter outside making things rumble. I'm talking like serious poltergeist activity from an empty bedroom. So, is it the same one from the 1969? I don't know. All I would say is what me and Diane experienced had the. I'm trying to be very careful. I don't want to use the violence of the one in 69, but it definitely had power, and it definitely had the ability to do a lot more than just make the odd little tinky noise or make a little door move or whatever. It had some power behind it, and that's all I'd say. Like I said, we could talk more about it and we can discuss it. And I think maybe in a future week, I might do another one of these and we can literally lay the Ghost of East Drive and people can talk about their fitment. There's Carol for you. Maybe we can properly have a conversation about it. But yeah, it was a mad experience. But anyway, let's have a look. Who remembers the first Fly on the Wall documentary called The Family? Blimey, Gilly, I'm not going to ask you how old you are, but I don't know that. I don't think I know that. Let's go back a bit. Rent a Ghost. I loved Rent a Ghost. I loved Rent a Ghost. Tim and Graham were funny. Yeah, I did. Yeah. What did we say about? I missed that. What did you say about Bill Oddie? Oh, Phil saying that Bill Oddie's the only one he hasn't met. It's probably a good thing, to be honest. He just, I don't know. Please, no way. Just, yeah. All right. Everyone can join us about the East Drive thing, except for Gillian, and I'll just let Gillian know when we finish talking about it. But yeah, I think it'd be. I think what would be really good is us talking about the experience of it. People can tell me about what they think of the house, and if they think it's nonsense, and if they think there's nothing there, and I get that. I genuinely get that, because the last couple of times I've been there, I've had absolutely nothing at all. I've gone there pretty flat, to be honest. When I was there with the Ouija brothers fairly recently, pretty flat. Didn't get anything. And most times I've been there, and the hundreds of bloody hours I've spent in that house, vast majority there's nothing there, right? But we got something, and it was a bit mental. So I think maybe what would be good is if we had we can say our part of what occurred. If anybody's read Richard Estep's book on East Drive, I think he got a few things wrong. If you read the East Drive book by Richard Estep, he got a few of what happened to us. He got a few things wrong with it. Not entirely accurate. And we were very briefly mentioned in John Fraser's Poltergeist book as well. But he didn't go into the details of what happened, because he was there on night 1 and nothing happened, and it all kicked off on night 2 when he wasn't there, which is bloody typical. Anyway, I'm back at 30 East Drive this time next week. Oh, right, Rosie Rose Ray. Right, I'm assuming you're a female, and you might be in luck because what helped kick the things off with us were a group of females in Philip's bedroom. Just to give you a kind of, so if you would like to try and drum something up, your best chance, I think, is in Philip's bedroom with women only. There you go. So if you are going next week, try that. You never know, you might have something actually happen. But like I said, don't expect anything. I know you'd not expect anything to happen, which is a good thing to have, is a good point of view to have, the fact that they don't think anything's going to happen. But because it hasn't happened much, I've got to say. But yeah, I mean, but try to conjure something up, try and ask for something to appear. Just no males in the room. That's all I'd say. Then you might get something. Dirty Drive, says Gillian. Yes, I know, East Drive. Who else is there? bumps into things in the night. Good evening. Yeah, I knew. Yeah, it's not that quick. Don't panic. Don't panic. It's the Thursday. That's why we're just not having any guests. Just talking to you guys at home, nice and chilled. Why don't I go dressed as a woman? Thanks, Lisa. I don't think with this beard, I don't think it's going to convince anybody, let alone a bloody poltergeist, that I'm a female. But I mean, hey, I've tried everything in that bloody place. I've tried being nice and I've tried being mean, and we've upended the place, and we've done everything. So why not? Why not dress up as a woman? One thing I haven't tried, actually, and this is maybe one for anybody who's going that may not have tried this. In the story of the original Fred the Poltergeist, apparently he didn't take too kindly to Christian songs, particularly Onward Christian Soldiers. Apparently, some gloves were kind of doing this, kind of like to the song of Onward Christian Soldiers when somebody was singing it, to kind of wind them up. So play that, try that, see if that helps, see if that does anything. But like I said, we've done Gregorian chants, we've done, what else have we done? Played stuff back. We played the Lord's Prayer backwards. We have done everything to try and get stuff to happen in that bloody place. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Sorry. I'm sorry, I missed chat because I've been rambling. Let's go back. Is anyone alive that has the original experiences at 30 East Drive? Yes, Brian. Yeah. The father died that we know. That the mother has recently passed away. Mrs. Pritchard recently passed away, but the children, so Diane Pritchard, Philip Pritchard, they still around. I just don't know if they would ever talk about it, or they haven't even been back to the property. I'm sure they might have been invited, but they essentially want to distance themselves from the whole thing, which maybe you can't blame them for it. But yeah, apparently they're obviously grown up now, but they're still around, the children. Maybe Fred's gone because Carol drove him out. Hey, I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised in the slightest. Sorry, Gillian. Yes, we'll talk about something else now. Right, for Gillian's sake, shall we not talk about 30 East Drive? I think we're giving her a little heebie-jeebies. Sorry, Brian, very quickly. Would Carol come on? I've spoke to Carol a number of times. To be honest, she's a bit poorly. In fact, very poorly. The last time I spoke to her was I interviewed her with the Ouija Brothers at East Drive, and bless her, when she walked in, I barely recognized her. She was not fat, not big, but she was well built, and she's just lost so much weight recently from illness. She's just got to make sure she's okay. Having said that, I think she's just had a foreign holiday, so she can't be that poorly now. But I do think she needs to kind of get a lot better. And she might. I mean, blimey, that woman can talk, though. I think. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I've got the strength, to be honest. Let's have a look. I should be drunk with shots. That what we should. Yes, we did. Every time we mentioned East Drive, we'd take a shot. I think I might do that one night. To go back to taking shots every time we mentioned East Drive. It could get really messy really quickly. Is it owned by somebody who makes horror films or special effects, or did I dream that? No, you didn't dream that. The guy who owns it is a guy called Bill Bungay, who has I don't think he didn't produce. He has a film production company, and it was his company that made the film When the Lights Went Out, which is all about East Drive. So basically, he bought the place as a good place, a good promotional piece for the premiere. That's why he originally bought it. And obviously, the money's been raking in ever since. I think the last time I spoke to him, he said he would sell East Drive for $1 million. Even though I think when he originally bought it, it was like £60,000. But he would sell it for $1 million, probably $1.5 million now, to be honest, for the amount of money that it kind of still rakes in. Yeah, Mark, I get that. Getting confused between East Drive. A lot of people do get confused between 30 East Drive and the Enfield case because they think it's one and the same. You know, they think it's the one and the same case because it happened in a, time wise. It's a you know you know Enfield happened in 1970s. Um, the East Drive one was the end of the 1960s, but a lot of people get, the fact it's a council house, the fact it's a young family, there's that kind of crossover there. But yeah, I get why it's confusing because similar kind of time period, similar kind of family situation. I get it, but yeah, they're completely different. East Drive is in Pontefract in West Yorkshire, Enfield is in London, so it's completely different areas of the country as well. Oh, blimey, I couldn't do shots now. I'm too old for shots anyway. No, I've not read, even though I've got William C. Grave on next week, I've not yet read The Lady in the Bay Window, Julie. So I think I'm going to need to do what I normally like to do, which is probably get it on Audible and just listen to it for a few hours until I get the gist of it. Yeah, make our film about a place, buy the place, charge people money to go in, yeah. And yeah, to be honest, knowing Bill and knowing that he obviously owns this production company, I think he lives down in London. I don't think he lives anywhere near Pontefract. But to give you an idea, East Drive is pocket money for him. He's kind of hung on to it because it's a bit of extra cash, a little bit of extra cash. Yeah, 300 quid a weeknight. Was it however much money it is at the weekend? He is earning thousands of pounds every week, and for him, that's pocket money. That's and he still won't bloody pay for CCTV in the place, which really annoys me. I've got to say, because every time I've asked him about it, and I have asked, and I interviewed him. If you ever saw the Ouija Brothers thing, I asked him outright, why haven't you put CCTV in there? And he kind of fudges it. He fudges the kind of, oh well, I mean, he's got the bloody money to have the best setup in there ever, but he just won't do it. I don't quite know why. Anyway, have I ever been to Shepton Mallet? No, it's one of those prisons. I've been to a couple of prisons, but I've not been to Shepton Mallet. I would love to go to Shepton Mallet prison, I've got to say. Some places just look cool. They look really, really good. That's one place I would like to visit, I've got to say. Let's have a look. How else to say it? Oh, Mark, last shot I had was Sambuca and was sick through my nose. I remember I had a mate did that at my parents' house. He vomited through his fingers because he'd had Mad Dog 2020. Do you remember Mad Dog 2020? If you was in the UK, you might remember Mad Dog 2020 if you're a certain age. Cherry Mad Dog 2020. Absolutely vile. And he was like, oh, I'm going to be sick. And they just vomited through his fingers. I was not impressed. Anyway. Let's have a look. Fort Monroe in Virginia, super haunted. Been stories there since 1900. I would love to go to any place in America, I've got to say. I've only ever been to America once, and that was New York. And there are so many places I would love to go to. And, just to find out, see, the UK, it's a little, I suppose if you're in the US, you have your own, you have your own the big haunted locations, right? But they're kind of so spread out. You kind of got to handpick maybe a couple that may be close to you because the distances are so massive. So you hear about, I suppose, certain places in the UK. You think, oh, and they're all comparatively close together. So I would like to go to the US and I would like to visit some of these big places, like Waverly Hills, and I'd like to go to, the Velisca House, the Axe Murder House, that one. I could list about 10 places just straight off about the place I'd love to go to. But I don't know. I mean, it's a little, I suppose it's the same for us in the UK. You have these big locations with these great big stories behind them. Am I just going to go there and be disappointed? Probably. That's if you're going all that way, I want to get something a bit kind of meaty. But I don't know. I would still like to go and visit some of these the big locations. They're like the big asylums you've got in America. You got some big ones in the UK, but you got some really big ones in America. I'd like that. That'd probably scare the shit out of me, though. Yeah, Lizzie Borden house. Okay. Just out of interest, because I've heard a few things about the Lizzie Borden house. What did you make of it, Sir Spookfest? Because I've heard some different things about the Lizzie Borden house, but I'm always intrigued by that. I won't even talk about the Conjuring house, I've got to say. Because of everything that's gone on, even if it gets taken over by somebody else, would I go there if it was owned by somebody else who had a genuine love for the building? Maybe, because it's a historic building. But has it been so tainted people might not want to go there anymore? I don't know, possibly. Oh, Gettysburg. Brian, now you're talking. Gettysburg. I would love to go to Gettysburg. It is, I mean, that really, that whole area is bucket list territory now. I'd love to go to Gettysburg. It's such an amazing, interesting place. I'd also like to kind of go to, those old forts that were where there was battles between the British and the Americans, and going there as a Brit to America, I just want to see if I'd get any activity because I'm British. Or if I start kind of shouting out allegiances to the king and things like that, or that kind of thing, would I get some kind of spiritual reaction? That's what I want to go there for. Just I mean, it's worth a try. Bloody hell. Virginia State Penitentiary, yeah. There's so many great places in America. There really are. Yeah, let's have a look. So near me, the War Triangle, Williamsburg, Yorktown, and Jamestown. That'd be all that whole area. I mean, I'm not too interested in Salem. I know some people would love to go to Salem for the whole, the whole witch trials and the whole. But it seems to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, if you've been there, it seems to me. Yes, I know there's like a couple of original areas and buildings and things linked to the Salem witch trials, but it just seems really touristy to me now. It seems like it's the whole witch tourism thing. It just seems like not a real genuine experience anymore. Let's have a look. Brian said, I had an experience at Gettysburg. Could have sworn I saw a misty soldier. Father saw it too at the time. See, that's why I want to go to Gettysburg. If there's something about battlefields, right? I've been to a couple of battlefields in my time, looking for kind of echoes of the past and battles and things like that. And I'm skeptical, right? And I'm skeptical, and I've always gone around ghost hunting quite skeptically. But when you are on a battlefield where let's say 50,000 people died, and their blood has been soaked into that field, and if you've read about it, where they were forming up, and what happened on that particular occasion, and how many people died, and how they died, and the screams and the groans of where the people were injured, and all of that kind of stuff. When you go there late at night, and obviously when you do ghost hunting, it's normally late at night. Well, certainly when we went, you might go during the day, but it gets very quiet at night. It has such atmosphere. It's genuinely real atmosphere when you're on a battlefield. And I love that. There's something about that. And I'm not a spiritual one of those guys, woo-woo kind of person. I'm really not. But it definitely has atmosphere when you go to those kind of places, I've got to say. So look, Salem witches, not witches, not like our Pendle witches. Yeah, the dark history is creepy enough. It is Towton. Yeah, the Battle of Towton. Let's have a look. Sorry, I missed a couple of people. Culloden. Now, I went to Culloden. Culloden has I obviously went during the day. But when you go into the museum, and you walk around the battlefield and things like that. Culloden, I think at night would be incredibly eerie as well. I've got to say. It's something I think it's purely your own imagination. You conjure up in your head what you think it could possibly have been like, and that makes it feel spookier, even though it's just a flat bit of land or a field or whatever. I think in your head, knowing what happened there, it conjures up so much. I just like that. Dan saying Flodden active 2 on the borders. Went to the battle in Hastings, and there's a vibe there. Towton is spooky. Where was that one where is it the Battle of Edge Hill, where they're supposed to have seen the replay of the battle occurring? And Edge Hill is one obviously where you're meant to hear the battle or sometimes see the battle in the sky above the battlefield. But that's not the only one. There's been a few, and I've heard of a couple of people who have gone to these battlefield sites on the anniversary of a battle, and they've heard things, and whether that's just a replay, whether that's their people's imagination, I don't know. But it's maybe I need to check out some more battlefields. Yeah, so Boo saying I think we've got more residual things going on. I agree. I don't know how much. If you think about energies, I don't know how much energy it can last for in terms of if it's just a replay. I don't know, but it's they've definitely got a feeling, these places. We live near an old battlefield, had several weird things happen, but they never involved historic type people, more modern people, which seems unusual. That is weird. Oh, cool, Mark. Edge Hill's close to you. Just as it's close to you, have you ever gone to Edge Hill on the anniversary of the battle? Because obviously, because for those that don't realise, Edge Hill was quite famously, it was recorded at on the anniversary of the battle. There was a replay. Oh no, was it the week later there was a replay, and then the year later there was a number of times there was like a replay of the battle. And the stuff that blows my mind with that one is that some of those that witnessed it saw it happen in the sky above Edge Hill, above the battlefield, and they were able to pick out and identify certain people who were involved in that battle, but were not killed in that battle. But they're able to see, people that they knew, people on horseback, for instance, and they could recognize them, but they were alive. They weren't killed. And that blows my mind. That is just, if you just think about that for a second, that's mental. So look, Diane saying, there's some interesting footage from Gettysburg. I've seen so much interesting footage from Gettysburg. Whether it's photography and film stuff, or I've seen some really weird footage in Gettysburg, stuff that isn't straight away obviously fake or anything like that as well. So look, Diane saying, let me take you around St Albans. Never been to St Albans. One area. Let's have a look. I'll go to Marston Moor. Yeah, I went to Marston Moor, Gareth, late at night. It was actually Marston Moor was one of the places I went with Paranormal Truth on the anniversary of the battle. And when we rocked up, we parked up, and we did, because it was the anniversary of the battle. What we weren't expecting, there's a memorial to the battle at Marston Moor, and we weren't expecting lots of blokes in reenactment gear, right? So when you're going there going, when you see the round, I don't know if it's the Roundheads, the Cavaliers, whatever, basically, or the English Civil War, you have these people in English Civil War robes and garb with spears and muskets and God knows what else. And yeah, it was like, when you're just not expecting them to be there, and they're there, and you just got to go, and there's like a little second where you go, fuck it, nah, it's not real. You've got to just second guess yourself a little bit, because you're thinking, oh God. Spanish, have I been to Pluckley? It's not. Yes, I have been to Pluckley in Kent. Yeah, spent a bit of time at Pluckley Village. Obviously, meant to be the most haunted place, or meant to be the most haunted village in the UK. Yes, spent some time at Pluckley. Locals weren't particularly keen on talking to us, I've got to say, and I think they have not been particularly keen about talking to ghost hunters ever since it was put in the Guinness Book of Records as being the most haunted village, apparently. But since then, I think they just get bothered a lot by people talking about it and hunting for ghosts and stuff. So I think they're a little bit well, not more than wary. I think they just don't like talking to ghost hunters now. So we kind of stayed away from them a little bit and went around quite quietly. So look, I believe ghost hunters caught the sound of a cannonball at Gettysburg. That's cool. Let's have a look. Evening. Well, I know, dead cold. I know, Mark. Yeah, I know. Well, the reason for those that come in late and welcome along, by the way, the reason I did this is because my podcast on Monday, always talking to guests, never talking to you guys at home, never really getting involved in the chat until it's the questions at the end of the day. And I thought it'd just be nice to have a, just chill, listen to the chat, look at what people's comments are, and have a nice and just being a bit more personable. I might do this. I mean, depends on what you guys think. Would you like this each week, or would you like this every fortnight, or is once every month enough? It depends whether you actually like the opportunity, because Thursday nights are always dead quiet. So that's why I've done it. And there's no restrictions on time. I'm not going to keep it to an hour like I do with guests, because I'm always wary that guests don't want to talk for too long or it gets too late. So I can keep it going for however. Let's have a look. Fort Monroe, 11 men passed away in 1940 in cannon breach and did an investigation. Definitely had feelings of being weird and some hits. That's cool. Let's have a look. 100 years ago this month, I think. Oh, okay. That'd be really good if it's 100 years ago this month. If it's like a big anniversary or something, I would definitely visit it if it's like a big anniversary like that. So look, been on an anniversary. That is a nice pub at the top of the hill. Also a tour close. Also a tour close by. A lot of people get the wrong fields. Okay, yeah, you got to do your research in terms of knowing where exactly these people were stationed and where they're based and what happened and things. I think it's good. Einstein theory that viewing through time could be possible. Yeah, I mean, the whole Edge Hill thing, just that whole reenactment thing with people that actually survived just fries my brain a little bit. Maybe more so than if it was everyone had died, who had been seen had died, but the fact that some people were alive and had survived the battle, but they were seen as a ghost, an apparition in the sky, really interesting. Let's have a look here. Isn't Pluckley where the original Darling Buds of May was filmed? It is one of the locations where it was filmed, yes, because I think we went into the pub, surprise, surprise, and there was photos from when the Darling Buds of May production was going on. So I think it was in and around that area, certainly. So look, the Pluckley Woods, yeah, I've been into the Screaming Woods of Pluckley. That's they didn't scream. I think these things about the Screaming Woods and stuff. They have these great names. I personally think what are they hearing? They're probably hearing foxes, and they're all of a sudden somebody hears a fox or a mad noise from a deer or whatever, and then lo and behold, you've got a label for it, and it sounds creepy. Okay, so I found an old Richard Felix video on YouTube where he met the guy who witnessed. Yeah, I saw that recently. They met who witnessed the Roman soldiers coming through the wall in York. Came across as very credible, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I went to the merchant's house, which is in York, and we did the whole tour thing around the merchant's house in York. And if you ever go to York now, and you go to the merchant's house, and you're thinking, great, I can go into that cellar area where this man saw these Roman soldiers. You can't. That it's really gutting. I went a couple of years back, and they're doing these tours and things like that, and you do the tour around the whole merchant's house, which is kind of bit. But the bit I really wanted to go into was the bit where the Roman soldiers were seen. They have done that in the past, but I think at the minute they've closed it off. I think it's unsafe, or the structure of it's unsafe. So until it gets sorted out, you can't go in there. I'm hoping they will open it back up to the public eventually. Kevka, hey, or what's happening? People, I've caught people by surprise. I know. But yeah, just doing this easygoing chat, no guests. It might become a regular thing if people want it to be a regular thing. If people think it's terrible, it won't be a regular thing. But like I say, it's just an opportunity to kind of just chat to you guys. and I can, like I say, let my hair down, chat to you properly, rather than me having a guest here, or I have to kind of I have to listen to the guest, I suppose, and ignore the chat. I can basically follow the chat. This one's just a lot nicer. Let's have a look. Anyway, but welcome along, Kev. Hi guys. Hello, hello, hello. So I'm sorry, the chat's going quite quick, really, for me. I'm a bit rubbish. What's Tim? What are you? Notice I'm playing with this beard thing, right? What are you saying about my bloody beard? You and Kev, I tell you, always having a go at popping out. You're gonna make me shave it off. Thing is, if you ever shave off a beard, I end up looking like a 12-year-old. So I might just keep the stubble, but I don't know about that. I don't know if to grow the beard or not. I don't know. Anyway, let's have a look. If anyone wants to go to York, let me know. I want to go, but not by myself. Gillian, why not? Go. There's so many places in York you can explore. There's so many haunted locations. I mean, ask Mythos. He's in the chat. I think he might still be in the chat. York is full of pubs and hotels, and obviously there's so many stories of York. You take your bloody pick. I mean, walk in a shop, it's probably haunted. Do you know what I mean? And it's a great place. You don't need to feel funny about it. I mean, virtually every bloody other house is meant to be haunted in York. So just enjoy it. Just go there. I mean, it's a lovely place. Go to the shambles and things like that, and you buy yourself a ghost in the ghost merchant shop if you don't have to queue for so long. Let's have a look. Did a house called the Hunter House. No investigation, but very cool. So an amazing 1800s house. That's cool. Deco, if we're talking battlefields, mate, my thoughts on East Drive, the Chequerfield estate, where many a battle was fought for Pontefract Castle. Don't tell Gillian that, because Gillian gets the heebie-jeebies when it's East Drive mentioned. I think she hates the bloody place. See, I just know that nothing happened on that site. Where that house is. Nothing happened on the site. It happened in the area, but I don't think anything happened particularly on that site. Kev, don't you dare shave it off. I'll keep it for the time being. We'll see. Bum fluff, Gillian. Bloody bum fluff. This is a little bit more than bum fluff. Yeah. See, it bumps into things in the night knows best. York is amazing. It is a lovely place. All bloody beard comments now. Can't cope with a beard. Yeah, it does. I think I've got through the annoying itchiness side a little bit. It's gone a little bit long now, so I'm getting less bothered, and it's kind of nice not to have to shave. I've got to say, it's so nice not to bother. I just can't be asked, and it's low. I think the older I get, genuinely, the older I get, the more I just go, do you know what, man? I can't be asked. So it's now gone to shaving, amongst other things. Is there such a thing as far too many ghosts? Well, chance to be a fine bloody thing, Kev. But I do love the fact that York has this, the reputation of these so many places in York are meant to be haunted. I kind of like that. I don't particularly think they're as haunted as everybody makes out, but yeah. So I went to Whitby for the first time the other week. Oh, I love Whitby. Love Whitby. The King Philip War or King Anawan in Massachusetts. My favorite stories were very, very crazy war stories of Native Americans and settlers. If you've never seen it, look it up. The Bridgewater Triangle documentary. I will do. That sounds really interesting. What do your students... Bloody hell, Spook. What do your students think of your beard? Do they think you're a weirdo? They don't really mention it. Yeah, look, Gillian, I know it's got this. Look, bloody grey all down here. What the hell is that all about? I mean, I'm kind of like the sides of my head. There's a few little grey hairs there, right? Couple. Shave it, you don't really see it. Top of my head, nothing really. Beard, just bloody all grey. I'm looking like more and more like, I don't know what it looked like, but it's a bit salt and peppery for my liking, but it's very grey. Let's have a look. Yeah, Spange, you need to go to Whitby. It's a lovely place. I mean, even if it's got the links with, Bram Stoker writing Dracula there, and it's just a really cool looking port, very atmospheric. It's got its own ghost story. It's got a ghost tour. Most bloody places now have a ghost tour. But it's a really cool place, and it's a nice place to kind of chill out. go on a ghost tour if you want to. They've got quite a few pubs and things which are meant to be haunted and stuff. Um, and yeah, it's just a nice place to chill out and relax. It's just a lovely place. And um, I mean, Diane Chambers in the chat is virtually there every week, aren't you, Diane? I think she's always bloody there. Virtually all holiday lets in that road. Oh, okay. Just for men. I'm not just for menning anything. It just, don't you think just for men just gets a bit, it's just a bit desperate, and it's just really desperate. Oh, Mark's going to Whitby in a couple of weeks. Forgot more towards Ravenscar. Yep, some fossil. I did some fossil hunting. Did a bit of fossil hunting when I was at Whitby on that little area of Whitby where you can go fossil hunting. I'm a bit of a kid like that. I love that kind of stuff. You know, and plus it's nice. So look, I seen Beardo's photo in the thumbnail. I thought he was going to be on this live. Sorry, no. Are you talking about the monkey? Hey, Beardo's been busy. He's. I mean, Beardo, bless him. He's done this gamers thing in London. You know, he's been picked out on this gamers top streaming whatever in London. He's going to be knackered. He's going to be driving home absolutely shattered. He'll not be home yet, and he'll be too jiggered to watch this kind of nonsense. You do not use Just for Men, Joe Vitali. Do you seriously, Joe? Do you seriously use Just for Men? You do not. You're too young for that, surely to God. Oh, see, look, when you talk about uneven greys, I'm like, it's all over the place on this beard. It is like there's a little patch of grey right there. You know, and there's like an odd patch of grey little. It is a little bit uneven, but you know, yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. Sod it. I mean, you can't really turn. You're going to do a Cher song, turn about time. But you can't, can you? I'm just, 47. I'm getting to that point, that brilliant point in your life when you stop giving a shit and you become less. I'm less patient. I've got to say, far less patient with people. I just don't give people the time of day anymore. Sorry, it's just one of those things, and so that's why I don't watch any YouTube stuff, because I think, if it's shit, it's wasting my time. I can't be bothered with it. And who needs to shave? Can't be bothered. Let's have a look. What's it got? Number 7, Henrietta. It's a private cottage. My great granddad died in the old Duke of York pub. He fell off his stool. That's cool. Oh man. This has been sponsored by Just for Men. I have a friend who lives there, Andy. Tim, I have. I've pretty much given up. Given up in life. Sod it. I don't care anymore. I'm too old and too gnarly and too knackered to give a shit anymore. And it's a brilliant thing. Sod being in my 20s. It's a good place to be, I reckon. Oh, bless you, Deadcov. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, get some bloody sleep. If you got Friday tomorrow, work tomorrow. I'll be stopping this silly nonsense in the next 15 minutes. I reckon I'll stop at 10. That's more than enough. 2 hours is more than enough for everybody, I reckon. This has gone better than expected. Oh, thanks, Gillian. That's kind of like a vote of confidence there from Gillian. Thank you very much. Yeah, exactly, Simon. Turned 50 a few weeks ago. Give no shits at all. That's how you should be in life. Now, the older you get, I can't be dealing with nonsense so much. You always just, I mean, when you're in your 20s, you're all eager and, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Now, the older you get, you think, bollocks, I can't be asked. And it's the same with people. I hate people. I think during COVID, it's maybe made me a curmudgeonly old git. Like, bloody people. I can't stand it. I hate going to supermarkets and getting annoyed by people in supermarkets. Oh, man. Gillian's out on the pull on Saturday night. What's that? I'm out on the pull Saturday night or I'm going out. Oh, okay. Right, Coca-Cola Jaffa Cakes are in my trolley for delivery tomorrow. Are you seriously going to get some? I've not heard of these Coca-Cola bloody Jaffa Cakes. Seriously. See, look, lots of people saying I hate people. right? I tell you, the older you get, and if you're of a certain age, I tell you, you have so little patience with people. Give me a big empty mansion house with some supposed spirits in there. I'd rather talk to them than I would talk to people in, in Tesco's. Do you know what I mean? Like, people so annoy me. I can. I mean, the fact I've got to teach kids are all right because they're, I don't mind teaching kids, right? They're okay, but other adults, oh man, they just annoy the shit out of me. What's that? I don't even drink Coke. Well. You may be intrigued enough to find that you love Coca-Cola Jaffa Cakes. I've never heard them. I've got to say. See, look, everybody in the chat is now that I can see is now going. Yeah, people are assholes. I can't stand people. The one thing I don't like about people going about on a rant now. One thing I don't like about people. There's just too many of them. I just get annoyed so quickly. They're bloody everywhere. How dare they? I want to get out in the countryside where there's nobody around and they can all sod off. Unfortunately, everybody else has the same idea. They end up camping with a bunch of other people, want to get rid of people. Let's have a look. I'm channeling my inner Dale. There's going back. Yeah, I know. So I'm 46, being at the point where I yell and swear at people when I'm driving. Yeah. I can remember being in a car with my granddad, I think he was driving. I mean, he died when he was 96, and but when I was, I think when he was in his 60s or 70s when he was driving me one time. Oh my God, it was the most frightening thing I've ever seen. Somebody who's old, who doesn't care whether they live or die, screaming and swearing at people. It's just bloody terrifying. It really is. Alyssa, how old are the children that you teach? I'm a primary school teacher, so I'm not so daft as to teach older teenagers and things. I basically teach from 7 to 11-year-olds. That's a good place to be. Yeah. Find a cave and become a hermit. Mark, honestly, it sounds delightful. I have these, you have these dreams. One day I'm going to earn enough money and I'm going to bugger off somewhere like the Highlands of Scotland and have one of those little crofters cottages where the nearest town is like 10 miles away. I don't have to see anybody. That's what I would love. Bless you, Mythos. Thank you very much for coming in. Great to see you. Yeah, I know, random, but yeah, it's always nice to have a little random chat to people and things, particularly on Thursday night when nothing's happening on the internet. You don't need the internet. Let's have a look. When you get to my age, you start to shove people out of the way. I thought you'd written shave people then. I thought it was slightly kinky. But yeah, shove people out of the way when they annoy you. Wear special earplugs to deal with the noises primary kids make. They're not bad. But if you do, I mean, I've been a teacher for 24 years. I've been a teacher. And if you ever listen to kids, they're absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. And it's endlessly amusing what kids come out with. Absolutely nuts. Oh dear. But yeah, but no, I don't mind the kids. The only ones that you get on playgrounds, though, you'll get some kids who will just scream for no reason whatsoever. They'll just scream. And it's always girls, and they've always got those really high-pitched voices. Oh, that does my head in. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm used to it now. I'm kind of used to any of this kind of stuff. But yeah, I can deal with kids, 7 to 11-year-olds, not a problem. Adults, different matter. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to finish fairly soon, the next 10 minutes or so. What's that? Not bad. I had a river to fish, a nice stove, and met some great people that was Maine for a summer. Oh, see, that's what I mean. Getting away in the countryside where there's nobody around, I would love that. I genuinely love that. Give me, like one of those log burner things, a camp stove, a kettle, a tent. Yeah, I'll be more than happy. If I don't have to see anybody, brilliant, right? The only thing about camping in America is like they have bigger animals there. right? And I know you can have the little can of, you know, what's that? The air horns to scare bears away and stuff. But I don't know. There's some other terrifying kind of big other creatures in America. I wouldn't be not. I'm just a bit of a kind of wuss, really, because we don't really have any of that in the UK. We kind of anything that was big and scary, we shot a long time ago. And I don't think there's anything, like things like boar and wolf, and they're all gone. There might be a few boars around, but not in this chat. but yeah, but what I mean, like the bigger animals and stuff. Yeah, we're really good at actually getting rid of them. But yeah, but I'd be a bit wary about going to in America and camping out in America, I've got to say. But it is still tempting. Hi there, Dawn. Good evening. So I taught business for 10 years to college, high school, and middle school. I'm sarcastic, so Robert. Yeah, I get the sarcasm. I mean, that's why I teach. I like teaching the slightly older kids. Like from the 10 or 11-year-olds, because they understand sarcasm and they understand my bad jokes, and they kind of, whereas the younger ones just don't really get it. I've got to say, but it's still quite amusing. Let's have a look. Have I ever met an annoyed badger? No, I have not. Yeah, exactly. Ooh, those badgers. That's scary. Let's have a look. I'm a guitar teacher in loads of schools, including primary, secondary. That's cool, Simon. I didn't know that. I'm not sure what is the hardest work, to be honest. I'm sure I think with any, if you teach kids, you kind of get used to a certain age group. So for instance, secondary teachers would think about primary, go, oh God, no, I couldn't ever do primary. The little snotty things. Whereas a primary school teacher would be like, you must be joking, trying to teach kind of hormonal teenagers. Absolutely not. So yeah, there's a whole kind of, you get used to it basically. But if you've got to teach both, you're screwed, mate. Basically, you've got to get used to them. Let's have a look. What are you talking about nuns for? Where did the nuns conversation come in? I've just seen that. I got taught by penguins. So I'm visiting Joe and just getting through months of PT. I have good and bad days, but getting there first. Oh yes, how are you doing, Dawn? I mean, it must be tough going. Are you at that point where your mind says you could do stuff, but your body's telling you no, you can't? That kind of stage where mentally you're all there, but physically you're just not. That's the story of my life at the minute. Tim, you're saying I couldn't be a teacher? Bloody hell, you're a police officer. The stuff you've got to deal with. And, and I think, when I'm me saying I can't deal with adults, being a police officer, dealing with asshole adults every day and, absolute numpties, whether it's on the roads or committing crimes or whatever. Oh my God. I really, really couldn't be doing with that in the slightest. I think I don't know how you do your job. Basically, I would get so sick to death of the same kind of people, that you're having to arrest and stuff like that day in, day out. There you go, Dawn. See, I knew you would be exactly that stage. Still not allowed to actively, move my arm much for 2 more weeks. Yeah, that's the thing is you'd be. I think just keep yourself calm because you'll end up getting really frustrated, and it's that kind of deal, isn't it? Where, mentally you think, yeah, you can do it, but physically your body will just say, nope, doing too much too soon. Just take it steady. Teacher training week this week has been knackering. Tell me about it. This is my I've only been teaching this is the first week back, obviously, in the UK. I've only been teaching Wednesday and today. Got obviously tomorrow to teach, and I'm knackered. I've only taught Wednesday and Thursday, and just like, bloody hell, how am I going to deal with weeks and weeks worth? This is just the start of the year. It's just. Let's have a look. I've taught 16-year-old apprentices in motor trade. They don't speak English anymore. Man, let's have a look. Oh yeah, I know, but I can still be. I just deal with death now. Is that your title? Just deal with death. It's my official term. Hi, I'm Tim. I just deal with death every day. Yeah, I get it. what's that? KCSIE mental health and anaphylaxis training this week. God, that sounds a bit full on. Spooky, blimey. No problem. Oh, later, Oliver. Thank you, Sir Spookfer. Thank you for coming in, by the way, and join me because I just thought there'd only be like a couple of people here. So thank you so much for the people who joined me. It's refreshing and it's nice actually. Um, no, I don't. I'm with Phil. So I don't think I could be a police officer. I would end up with a very dim view of the human race. Yeah, I get that. I absolutely get that, and I know that police officers kind of are slagged off for that, but I get it. They're kind of like, oh. They they kind of if you actually worked with these people day in day out, I get how you would feel about certain people. I'd feel exactly the same way. They had extra 6 weeks on an extra day because of teacher training day. Yes, I know, Gillian, I know. But the thing is with me, because I'm a supply teacher, I didn't get paid for that 6 weeks holiday, so I'm absolutely skint. Because when you don't get paid for 6 weeks, it's always a bit of a struggle. But so I'm kind of glad to be back out working now, I've got to say. Right. I think what we'll do is, because we're kind of we're pretty much near kind of wrapping up and stuff now. So first of all, thank you for joining me. I'd like to say if you I mean the whole Chimp's Tea Party thing, obviously I've done a different kind of intro for it. I want it to be a little bit separate from the podcast stuff. Podcast will always be every Monday. But I'm always very aware of not being able to talk to you guys properly at home and not kind of following the chat so well as I can. Obviously, when you got a guest in, I'm always a little bit distracted with them and listening to them and stuff like that. So that's why I've done this. I mean, if you have like the idea of this, I mean, I've not decided yet whether to do this as a weekly thing. I think weekly might be a little bit too much, but I kind of like the idea of kind of chatting to you guys a little bit more. Maybe once every fortnight, or maybe once a month. But I think maybe once a fortnight would be about right. I would be about nice. And then obviously certain times we can chat on here. I don't have to worry about anybody else except for you at home watching this. And if there's anything that guests have come up with, or we can talk about what's coming up, or talk about what past guests have said and your views and opinions and things like that. I think that would always be a kind of nice thing to talk about. And it's just a good way to have a chat. Gillian says monthly. That's, yeah, Alex, I think once a week might be a bit too much. I think, and I don't want to, right at this stage, I think once, like I say, once a week, and I think it'd be too much. I think it's just a nice chilled once every couple of weeks is kind of nice. I think for me personally, yeah, exactly. It's a nice chilled, enjoyable, no dramas, no fussing, no slagging off of people or anything like that. It's just kind of like having conversations around either stuff I've done or stuff that you have done or locations or anything paranormal related. We can do that absolutely fine. And it's just a different thing, isn't it? And whether I include, like I mentioned before, whether I include giving out the stream link to this thing here, and then people can come in with their opinions, I'm yet to decide. I'm a bit iffy about it. I was kind of erring on the side of, oh yeah, we should do this. It's a really good idea. But then, when somebody was mentioning, you might get somebody kind of showing nudity. I'm looking at Diane here. I'm not Diane, honestly, right? But I don't. I'm realized that if you open it to anybody and anybody can say anything or do anything on camera, it could literally kind of ruin my channel. So I'm a bit iffy about that. Now, it's not that I don't trust you guys, because of course I do. But yeah, I've got to decide. Whether I do go down that avenue, or just keep it like this. Just keep it nice and light, and hopefully people enjoy it. If I do it every couple of weeks, I'll try to give you a bit of advance notice rather than just springing on you guys. So if you ever see the Chimp's Tea Party, that's what it is. It's obviously linked to the Monkey Podcast. But no guests, essentially just a chat, just a general nice chat all of you having a chat. Oh, bless you. Thank you, Dawn, for that. 9.99. Thank you very much for being in the field of education, having time to do killer content. Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Yeah, some of these people go out to work and then still do this stupid stuff in the evenings. But yeah, but like I say, I love the chat. I love talking to you guys properly. Those who kind of follow the channel, it gives me a good opportunity to talk to you, to listen to what you have to say, rather than kind of half ignoring you when a guest is on. And I don't like ignoring anybody's comments. I try to kind of, yes, try and look at your questions when I've got a guest on, but I think every so often it's nice to kind of chat to you like this, really personable, trying to read all of these comments out and just thank you. I think you've made me realize that this is a nice thing to do, and maybe it's something I should do more often to kind of talk to you. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Thank you for joining me. Remember, Monday, proper guest on Monday, William C. Grave, talking about his home in Sheffield that's haunted. He's written a book about it. Anyway, that's on Monday, and I shall see you then. So thank you for joining us, and I wish you good night. So see you Monday. Bye-bye.